You guys can hear me okay, right? Okay, let me know if I need to slow down. So I'm going to start off by introducing our amazing panelists. Melody did such a great job picking out a diverse group of entrepreneurs and professionals who incorporate their corporate America experience into fashion. So in the midst of me giving you their short bios, I'm going to tell you three truths in one line. And you have to figure out which one is a lie. Okay? And for those of you who heard me talking, don't give it away if you already know the answer. That's you in the hat back there. Okay. So the first panelist I would like to introduce is E2 Evans. He's a shoe designer to the stars, the creator of the best bespoke footwear that seemingly makes clothes optional. The former behavioral therapist turned his shoe therapist into quintessential Renaissance man. So this guy is really awesome because he formerly had a learning disability as a student, but is a 4.0 graduate of Columbia University with a degree in applied behavioral science, cum laude graduate of South Carolina State University. He pursued his creative studies at the Parsons School of Design and obtained an associate's degree from the Fashion Institute of Technology in Footwear and Accessories. He has served as an adjunct professor at Berkeley and has implemented behavioral programs for the affluent in France and Italy. So here is his truth and or lie. He created his career in fashion with flowers that he swept up off the floor. So let's give E2 a round of applause as he comes and takes the seat. Next, I will be introducing Marin Heiskell. Correct? Am I pronouncing your last name correctly? Marin Heiskell is a personal stylist, brand consultant, experienced fashion buyer in Chicago, an alumna of Stanford University, the Kellogg School of Management, and the School of Style. Marin is passionate about combining her traditional corporate experience and passion for fashion to empower today's busy professionals in reaching their full potential through influences of poise, presence, and style. One great thing about her background is she came from really interesting fields, banking, retail, IBM, Target. So throughout her career, her business expertise has lent her to be able to be an exceptional person in the fashion industry. So her cure for a bad day is listening to the Lion King soundtrack in her office with the doors closed. Let's give her a round of applause. Next, we will have Yamea. Yamea is a founder and president of Fashion Girl and a nationally recognized high fashion expert. Yamea has been in many pageants, including the Miss Arizona USA pageant, in addition to becoming a delegate for running for Miss North Orange County. She's a former high fashion model from abroad and national keynote speaker for Women About Business. Yamea is looking forward to clothing the world with a different outlook of fashion and its many trends. She now shares her spirit of excellent and high fashion etiquette expertise, as well as inspiring thousands of women across the U.S. each year as an author. Let's welcome Yamea as she comes. And she won Miss Black Universe in 2003. That could be a truth or a lie. So be careful what you clap for, you never know. Last but certainly not least, we have Shara Kamal. She is the managing attorney of Where Fashion Meets Law. Isn't that kind of amazing? But let's listen to this. She was an attorney who has successfully closed over 2,500 business real estate transactions in nearly 12 years in her practice. Her areas of expertise are real estate law, working with high net worth individuals, and she also works with fashion folks. She holds a Juris Doctorate degree from the John Marshall School of Law in Chicago, with a concentration on international business, real estate, and a Bachelor's of Arts degree in Business and Entertainment Management from Columbia. Her motto is, don't dream it, live it. And she learned how to drive on a tractor. Okay, let's give her a round of applause. So, her therapy is listening to the Lion King soundtrack. He started his business by sweeping up flowers on the floor and using them. And she was Miss Black Universe in 2003. Which one is a lie? I mean, these are some really good stuff, right?
Mine was Miss Black Universe.
You think that's the lie or the truth?
No, I think it's true.
That's actually the lie. Thank you. since we have a smaller crowd, it would make sense for us to have a more engaged conversation. We can talk all day and I can ask them questions about their backgrounds, but it wouldn't be meaningful unless this is information that you want to receive. One thing that I do want to start off with the conversation is, E2 was diagnosed with a learning disability. And I would really like to understand how early on you were able to overcome that and then actually study this, and how has that impacted you as a fashion entrepreneur?
Well, I think that creativity is a gift. And what I would do is I made learning fun. And what I experienced, because so many people of color are stigmatized as having learning abilities. So my story is unique, but it's also a very common occurrence that happens. Generally in the inner city, if a child has a behavioral problem, he's placed in a special program, or he's put out of school, so it's very much impossible for him to learn anyway. But I just could not grasp concepts. And what I realized later in hindsight was that it was a lot of emotional turmoil, things that were happening domestically within the home, and reinforcement. But my mother was just a creative genius, very bright woman, and it became punitive for me to have an influence so smart and then me being called dumb. So you have to really be careful what you accept, because people are always going to say things. So the first thing was that the teacher would say he's stupid, and she would put me in the corner. And I would say, God made me smart and brilliant. They just have to learn about it. So my grandmother, she went and she confronted the teachers and said he can do anything that he wants to do, and he will do it. And then I believed that. But prior to that, I saluted a couple of flags. And just continually studying to show myself approved in fashion and design, and I kind of stood out at an early age. I wore suits as a kid to school every day. Bow ties every day. When I got into middle school, I was selling flowers to buy designer shoes, and then deconstructing my grandfather's shoes. So my goal now is to go into the inner city, and I have a program called the Purple Buddha Initiative and some mainstream leadership, and it's going to be an agricultural preparatory school to make learning fun. So I go and look for the baddest kid that I could find, so he can become the brightest kid.
So, Nemea, let's give her a round of applause for that. Talk to us about your aha moment when you decided that fashion was your purpose.
Oh, God. I think I've had a couple of those. My aha moment actually came after the homegoing of my twin boy, Jeremiah. I'd always been in fashion and around it. My mother self-taught herself how to do couture fashion using rosary bags. And of course, I was along with her, so I learned a few things as well. I was more of a designer. She was more of a hand. And so dealing with that and then starting so early in modeling, I later found out that I was going for a face value. I was trying to find my value. And through that, at the course of that, I found the inner strength and power that lied within me. I was looking externally. But the aha moment came after my homegoing of my twin boy. And God said to me, I have created you in my image, and you are fashion. The strength that you hold is what makes you beautiful. And from then, outpoured all these clothing lines as I sketched and, kind of went into a deep sense of value and who I am and what I should do. So that was the first.
My next question will be for Shara, correct? Yes. Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Okay. So speaking of value, it's really important that fashion designers learn how to protect the brand that they value so much. So if I am a beginning person out in fashion, what is my first step in protecting my designs and my brand?
You should first seek counsel before you make any moves, before you start sharing your ideas, before you start looking for support from investors. You want to speak with counsel. Speak with an attorney. Make sure that you get the appropriate agreements drawn up, like a confidentiality agreement, possibly a non-disclosure agreement, so that the information and ideas that you share, they're protected. The idea starts here, but it's not protectable here, okay? But as soon as you share those ideas and they are become black and white, they're written down, those sketches hit the paper, those things you want to protect. Your brand is your business. Your brand is that image that's going to make you money. And there are quite a few ways that you can protect the brand, such as trademark registration, copyright registration. When you establish a business, you want to protect your personal assets with the right form of entity, corporation. Is it an S corporation or C corporation? Is it an LLC? Are you partnered with other people who are possibly designing clothes, manufacturing clothes? If they're partnered with you, you want to have the appropriate partnership agreements in place. So there are a number of different ways, strategies to protect the brand, the business, the image, but you want to make sure you seek counsel first.
So after I do all this protection, my next question is for Maren. How important is it to have a brand structure when pitching collections to store buyers?
It's actually very, very important, and it's not only about having a brand structure and kind of having your story and what inspires your collection, but understanding how it fits into the buyer's vision and the buyer's goals. Buyers are business people too. We love to think that they sit on front rows of fashion shows and just pick out what's pretty. They actually have business goals, and so I always tell, up-and-coming designers, build a network of buyers and get familiar with what their business plan is and who their consumer is. Do they want to, conquer a certain consumer market? Do they want to expand into another consumer market? And that helps you not only kind of refine your story, but it helps you know what buyers you want to work with and how you can help their business and vice versa. So it is, look at the buyer relationship as another form of partnership, like you would have with your manufacturers and your distributors.
So now you kind of got a gist of what each panelist adds in terms of value. I hope I was able to bring out each one of your uniqueness, right? And I would love to start with the audience, and how about everyone stand up and introduce yourself? I mean, it makes sense for us to know everyone in the room if you haven't done so.